not going there, I guess. That need to capture your attention for this video. I'm self-conscious because there's another car parked over there. If I talk too loud, the other person in this park's gonna hear me. But I'm gonna tell you exactly how to overcome social anxiety, and it starts with this. I'll just tell you one thing that I hate. One thing that I hate, a pet peeve of mine, is when people take a label and they say, oh, I just have this. I have depression, I have anxiety, I have social anxiety. And this may trigger you, okay? Trigger warning. I may trigger the fuck out of you, okay? It might trigger you. I'm not trying to trigger you. Maybe a little bit. The whole chemical imbalance in a brain causes depression thing is bullshit. Sorry, it is. And even if it wasn't bullshit, even if that was true, why would you want that mindset that this thing, this label, depression, anxiety, whatever, is just something that you have and you have absolutely no control over it at all? There's nothing you can do about it. And for the rest of your life, you either have to be on some pill to kind of help you with a bunch of side effects, or you just live with it for the rest of your life and you're doomed for eternity to suffer with depression, anxiety, whatever. So I hate that mindset. So this is the question that I asked myself when I knew that I had social anxiety. And I was like, I put a label on this thing. Social anxiety. I like looked it up. I was like, oh, I have social anxiety. Okay. And I found out, yeah, that's what it is. It's like anxiety in social situations. There's differing degrees of severity. Okay. Before you go in the comments, before you just start talking about your own personal experience, labeling yourself with something and then saying there's nothing you can do about it puts you in a position where obviously you're never going to overcome it. So if that's you, forget about overcoming it. Accept it. You're doomed for the rest of your life. You know, it's kind of funny because you actually do have to accept the fact that you have it. You have to accept the fact that that feeling's there, right? We're talking about social anxiety in this video. So if you're suffering with it, or if you have that, if you have anxiety in social situations, like you, if you're giving a public speech, talking in front of people, in a group of people, at a party, whatever, you feel like people are judging you. When I labeled this feeling that I didn't want to have anymore in social situations, and I found out it was social anxiety, I had a choice to make. I could either spend the rest of my life being a hermit and avoiding all situations that brought up the anxiety, so all social situations, so basically don't get a job or have to talk to people, maybe, I don't know, be in some cubicle somewhere, just pushing buttons, never having to talk to anybody, work remotely from home, never go outside, whatever. Or face it. Face it. The internet's a beautiful thing, because the internet, much like you watching this video, internet gives you access to people and ideas that you may not have had access to before. So I'm grateful for the internet to connect us with people around the world. Yes, there are horrible things about the internet too, but one thing that I appreciate about it is the fact that for me personally, it allowed me to be exposed to new ideas and to see people and their methods for overcoming social anxiety. So what I did was I said, you know what? I looked at my life, the trajectory of my life, and I said, okay, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. With the major that I picked, the career path that I picked, the life that I want to live, the fact that I have family, the fact that I have friends, and we do stuff, I don't want to have social anxiety for the rest of my life. So what did I do? I obliterated it. How did I do that? Let's get into that. All right. So once you've decided your path, and if you've decided to obliterate social anxiety like I did, then what do? Face it. You face it head on. And yes, I realize that that's intimidating, right? It's intimidating to just be like, well, the thought of talking to a group of people, like let's say I was like, hey, I'm going to sign you up for a public speech tomorrow. You've got to do it. Probably wouldn't even sleep. You get butterflies in your stomach. You'd be like, oh my God, I can't fucking do this. But what if I just gave you something to do? You go to the gym, you work out. There's this thing called progressive overload. It's how you build muscle. You don't just go into the gym, pick up a 30-pound dumbbell and start curling it when you're only capable of curling 10s. You start with 10s. After a few weeks, you move up to 15s. After a few weeks, you move up to 20s. After a few weeks, you keep building up. Then you eat more protein. This mindset stuff that I'm talking about, like the stuff I talked about at the beginning of the video about labeling, that's your protein. It's the reassurance for you after you do your workout. The workout today, if I were to give you something, if you have like really bad social anxiety, go outside and start making eye contact with people. Say hi to one person. Here's what I did. When I was like 21 or 22, I decided I was sick of it. I was sick of having social anxiety, sick of being all awkward, people making fun of me. So what I did was, once I realized I needed to change my life, I went out on my college campus and I started approaching people, mostly women, because it was, I'm a guy, I like to. Approaching a woman and showing that you're attracted to her is like one of the scariest things for some reason for guys, probably relating to like status or something. It's like an ego thing, but whatever. Like nobody wants to be bad with women. So if you can get yourself to just walk up to a woman and be like, hey, what's up? And maybe at first it's literally just like, do you have the time? Okay, thank you, bye. Or maybe it's like a compliment. Hey, you look really nice. Just wanted to tell you, see ya. Have a good day. Genuine, like a genuine compliment. After a while, I started getting more courageous. I started getting confident doing that. And I even, fast forward a couple months, I even started getting like phone numbers because I was just walking up and talking to women. Maybe like certain women just liked me. They were shy too. And we just hit it off. If you talk to enough women, you'll just get along with one or two of them. And that was, 22. That was like 6 years ago. Over the last 2 years, I've been a dating coach. And I don't know how much I want to say about this now, but I'm basically doing my own thing for a bit. And I will start coaching soon. I want to create my own coaching program on on overcoming social anxiety. But that's not what this video is about. Just keep an eye out for that. This video is about me telling you how to overcome social anxiety. So one is the mindset. You have to decide if you want to label yourself with it or if you want to say, no, there's actually something I can do about this. Decide that. Two is start exposing yourself to as many social situations as possible, throwing yourself in them. If you want to approach girls like I did, cool. If you want to start speaking up more to your friends, cool. If you want to start going to more parties, cool. If you want to sign up for a public speaking class like I eventually did, one of the most amazing things I've ever done. Until, 2020 happened and everything went online and I was just sitting at home and it's like, it's not as thrilling to like do a public speaking class online. I mean, look at me right now. I can just say whatever the fuck I want. I'm in the middle of the forest or a park. This isn't public speaking. What am I talking to? Trees, a camera, in a video that I don't even have to upload. Anyway, if you want to overcome social anxiety, if you want to live in the real world, you got to get out in the real world. So yeah, step two, besides the mindset, step one was the mindset. Step two is getting yourself in more social situations. And when I started doing that, I realized sometimes I wasn't completely being myself in social situations. So, thus, the next step. When you start putting yourself in more social situations, you're going to realize I could take this a little bit further. Sometimes I still hold back what I want to say. So, the third step is actually saying what you want to say to people, speaking your opinion. It's hard. It's hard when you have social anxiety to speak your opinion because you don't want people to judge your opinion, right? I understand the feeling of being jerked around by everybody. Say one thing and then somebody you're afraid of what they're going to think. You're like, oh, you're afraid of what they're thinking of you in general. And, but you got to do it. You got to force yourself to speak your opinion because it's there. You have an opinion. You think you're hiding it from people? by being a people pleaser, by not saying what you want to say. They can tell. They can. Somebody can tell when you actually disagree and you try to tell them that you agree. Oh yeah, I agree. People are intuitive. In the back of their mind, they can just tell. They're like, wait a minute, there's something off about the way that he's agreeing with me. So you might as well just force yourself to say your opinion, or to say the joke that you're thinking, or to say the thing that's on your mind. You have to force yourself to do it. Step 4. Hold on, let me think of it. I have to refer back to my own story. I honestly think that's how I overcome social anxiety. Those 3 steps. Because once you've learned to be yourself around people, what's left? Putting yourself in more, I guess, intimidating social situations, or level up even more. Like, maybe you can start uploading videos online, like I do, talking about your life, being vulnerable. Maybe you can join a public speaking class, talk in front of more people. Honestly, I think the last thing is, like, I made a video a while ago, does social anxiety ever go away? And I was like, I don't know. Because even when I overcame it and I felt confident just walking up and talking to anybody, sometimes people who I considered like higher status, I would still feel self-conscious around, like whatever, famous people, actors, famous athletes, or just people in your social circle that you consider really cool. And at the end of the day, you have to, I think, realize that they're just like you. And that's probably the 4th step, is like, stop putting so much emphasis on yourself. At that point, you should be self-aware enough to where you know enough about yourself, and then you can start like focusing on other people, being curious about other people. Because if you put somebody on a pedestal, like that hot girl, that actor, famous person, whatever, that really cool guy in your social circle, if you actually talk to that person and find out a lot about them, this is one thing that approaching girls taught me. When I approached the first girl that I considered like, whoa, she's like absolutely beautiful. When I approached her in the bar, you know what I found? She's a normal person. Same thing with people that you think are perfect, like the really cool guy or whatever, the famous person. Like, they all have problems. They all have different things about them that you probably didn't know. Not necessarily all negative stuff, I'm just saying stuff in general. They have qualities about them that you didn't know about. I feel like I've been looking around like a paranoid person this whole video. Ugh. I'd rather film a video like this when nobody's around, but like, I don't think people really care, to be honest. Some dude walking around talking to a camera. It's not that weird in 2023. Let's be real. Anyways, hope you found this video helpful. Comment. I'm self-conscious because there's a car driving by. It's okay, it's an old lady.